Creative Funding is a funding programme managed by Aberdeen City Council's Cultural Policy and Partnerships team. My name is Elspeth Winram. I'm a Cultural Planning Officer, and you can contact me and the team if you have any questions or if you'd like to have a meeting by emailing creativefunding@aberdeencity.gov.uk. The aim of this presentation is to introduce applicants to the funding stream to support them to make the best application possible. The application form and the guidelines are available on the web page to download. The application deadline this year is Friday the 18th of June 2021 at 5 p.m. This funding programme has been available year on year for over 20 years subject to council budget approval. It is a fantastic opportunity for creative people and organisations who have an idea and project they wish to pursue. This funding has been awarded to festivals, community groups, brand new arts organisations and has supported projects from emerging individual artists through to established organisations. A range of projects can be considered, such as performances, exhibitions, networking events, or even something completely new and innovative. There are very few limitations on the type of creative project that can be supported. It supported activities such as 10 Feet Tall's secretly staged theatre project, which was performed in various community centres and which removed financial barriers by adopting a subsidised pay what you can model, so that local people could experience quality theatre. The funding scheme also brought music into care homes and participation opportunities to some of the city's most at-risk residents. Aberdeen Sirenians also received funding to run music groups with vulnerable participants who have complex needs. This built their confidence not only to perform solos, but to join together to record songs. It funded Lynn Hawking-Menny with her Creative Funding Award. Lynn was able to undertake research into her family's historical connection to the weaving trade in North East Scotland and begin exploring how to integrate genetic information from her family into woven objects that express that connection. The research included data gathering from national records for 7 generations of her family. Lynn has now gone on to secure funding from Creative Scotland's Open Project Fund to further explore this maternal inheritance. This shows how ideas, when given initial funding, can be progressed. If you're an artist or creative who lives in Aberdeen, you can apply for funding for up to £2,000. There will be 10 awards allocated this year in 2021-22. Individuals have to be over 18 and must reside in Aberdeen. There is no match funding requirement for individual applicants. This means you do not have to raise further funding to apply, although we do encourage applicants to consider a range of funding options. We recommend that individuals allocate about 50% of their overall project budget as fees. Although this is flexible and it can be a higher proportion depending on the nature of your proposal. Our advice would be to please make sure that you consider all aspects of the activity that requires funding to make the project viable. Organisations can apply for up to £10,000 and it is possible to make 2 applications per year. If you're an organisation, you may apply for up to 75% of the total cost of your proposed activity. The remaining 25% must be cash funding from a source external to council funding. Examples of cash funding include projected ticket sales, organisational funds, or a grant from another funding body, not an in-kind contribution of time or resources. This means Aberdeen-based organisations can apply who have a specific creative project in mind and are not-for-profit or have charitable status, are a social enterprise or community interest company. Also, organisations based out with Aberdeen City can apply. However, the creative activity or project they are proposing has to be delivered in the city. What areas and fields can creative funding support? This slide shows a long list of creative areas and fields that can be funded from this programme. This includes music, theatre, dance and visual arts. And if you're unsure if your project can be supported, then please get in touch with us through our email address. There are 3 areas of activity that you can apply for. They are delivering activity, developing ideas and projects, and professional development. These areas are mentioned in question 3 in your application form. You may also tick more than one area. For example, Open Road were successful in receiving funding and they developed a performance that launched the Dance Live Festival in 2019. It was about both delivering activity as it presented a performance which explored the themes and pathways of life and death. It was also about developing work in the North East as many months were spent exploring these themes. Another project that received funding to develop their idea was Tillage Gateway Feature. Donside Village Community received development funding for a public art project and have developed an artist brief supported by their project team. They have selected 4 artist proposals which they are now encouraging the local community to vote upon. They will then take their public art project into the next stage and seek further funding. As mentioned, the funding also supports professional development, and an award was made to an Aberdeen resident involved in festivals to attend Atelier Next, an intensive 7-day course for young festival managers. The course was organised by the Festival Academy, an initiative of the European Festivals Association, and run in partnership with Next Festival. There are 6 criteria that an independent panel made up of professionals and creatives from the sectors will review. First is the cultural and creative focus. Make sure your application is for an activity mentioned in slide 6 in this presentation and in the guidelines. If you're unsure, then please do get in touch with the team. The quality of the activity. The panel will also consider the quality of activity as they review your application. Try to answer each question clearly, and if you're unsure, then please ask for assistance. Also, good quality support material is important. The impact of the activity. Consider the difference that your project will make. To answer a question about impact. Also, consider how you will evaluate your project to show that you have made a difference. Project management. Write clearly about how the project will be managed, especially if there are more than artists or partners involved. For example, explain who will take on which roles. Risk management. Please consider and write about any risks associated with the project and how you intend to mitigate against risks, especially how you might adapt your project in line with changing government guidelines in relation to COVID-19. You may have to digitise your work or make the activity go online. You can, if you wish, add a simple risk assessment as support material. Budget management. Consider all resources required to undertake your project, for example, time and resources. If you're calculating your fees, please look at hourly rates through the Scottish Artists Union. Calculate how much funding you will need to adapt your project to go online. Any hire of equipment, as mentioned in page 7 of the guidelines. There is a preference to supporting hiring rather than buying equipment. There are exceptional cases where buying equipment can be supported. For example, if the case is made financially that it is more economical, and the panel consider that the cost can be supported. As mentioned, good quality support material will help the quality of your application. Here are some suggestions. Individuals are required to upload an up-to-date CV. If you can make sure your CV is relevant to your creative journey, strengthen areas that highlight this. That could be any experience that relates to the project you're applying for, volunteer roles or part-time temporary roles. If your project includes other people, you can include their CVs as well. Organisations are required to upload their business plan and can include staff CVs that relate to the project. You can also include photographs of previous projects. This illustrates the quality of your previous work. They should be carefully selected and to reflect the activity proposed in the application form. If you could please make sure that the images are clearly labelled and include relevant information as appropriate. Where possible, please save multiple images onto one PDF document with clear titles and the dates of the activity they relate to. This is helpful when your application is reviewed. If sharing a link to online images, then please check the link is to pages especially related to your work and not to personal accounts. And if you could make sure that all your links in your application are working, for example, links to websites, video or audio files. When doing this, please make sure the final file does not exceed 5 megabytes in size. This can be shared by email or a file sharing service. Other support material. This could be a letter of support from a partner in the project or a professional that can support your experience to deliver the project. Another possibility is a marketing plan to show how you will market and profile your project through social media and other avenues. A project management table can also be uploaded, and this can show visually how you will deliver your project and the timescales. It is possible to upload a basic risk assessment table as support material to help list risks and how you will mitigate against them and lower them. A budget table can be uploaded if you need to further explain your budget. Also, reports, consultation, and any previous evaluations can be added as support material. There is a question about how you will evaluate your project. Creative Scotland have a toolkit called Is This Best It Can Be? It is for anyone delivering arts and creative learning. Arts Council England also have a download called Evaluating a Project, and Education Scotland also have information of how to plan and evaluate creativity. Think about what you want to achieve or improve, then consider how you will gather information through the project to show that if this was achieved. Some practical ideas to gather information online are online or paper questionnaires or surveys before the project and after the project to show the difference the project has made. Collect data about attendees, a scrapbook showing project development. Ask a small group for their opinion and questions via email, telephone, or in person, and taking photographs or video as a record of the project. There is a checklist you can go through before sending your application and advice sessions if you'd like to talk to a member of staff about your specific project are available by emailing the team. The deadline for completing the applications are Friday the 18th of June 2021 at 5 p.m. We look forward to seeing your applications and thank you for listening.